Storygoers, and welcome back to another episode of Tales from the Cartridge, the video game storytelling podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Eric Penrod.
And I am your other co-host, Ryan Bauer.
Oh, Ryan, it has been so rough lately. I feel like we don't get to do this anymore. Like we like to. It's been a little crazy. Yeah. But how are you, and what have you been playing?
I'm doing all right. I am enjoying the cool weather. I am enjoying this relaxing, chill Sunday. I'm doing pretty good. And as far as what I've been playing, a handful of things. I picked up Moonlighter on Switch, which is like a fun little. You go into a dungeon and you gather things. Then you have a little shop and you sell them at your shop, and you can use that money to upgrade your shop, get new shops in the town, or get new gear for yourself so you can go farther and farther in the dungeon. It's like a really perfect little Switch game that is just fun to kind of goober around with a little bit. I've been playing Inscription. Actually, I just finished Inscription yesterday, which is a game that I absolutely loved, and it is so wild and interesting. And I don't want to say too much about it, because the more you say about that game, the less you're able to appreciate it, because it goes in some really wild places. But I really enjoyed Inscription a lot. Me and my partner have been playing It Takes Two, which is a very wild game that has some very fun mechanics and very problematic characters and themes. There is a very particular scene which makes me never want to have any person under the age of 18 play this game, where you're ripping apart a stuffed animal. It begs you to stop. That's really problematic and terrible, and it's really gross. And you're doing it to make your child cry. It's a whole thing.
What?
Yeah. It's very bad.
Okay.
I've been playing Happy Home Academy, which is a really wonderful time. I got to where you make the restaurant, and I could not figure out how I want to make my restaurant, so I've been frozen, paralyzed with indifference to try and figure out how to decorate that restaurant. But I'm really loving. It's been such a wonderful time to go back and get to decorate things, and then a little bit more of Age of Empires 4 here and there when I have the time. But Eric, how are you, and what have you been playing?
I'm good. I'm also enjoying my Sunday. I feel like this weekend's flown by, unfortunately. After a long week at work, you're just I spent equal amount of time over a weekend, which obviously is not going to happen. 5 days compared to 2 days, but other than that, though, I'm good. In terms of what I've been playing, I've also been playing Animal Crossing Happy Home DLC, whatever, and really liking it. I'm not as far as you. I haven't been able to do the restaurant yet. I did my 10th vacation home yesterday or something like that, but I keep inviting villagers on my island to go, so I just totally bypass all the other villagers that's just there on the island chilling. But I love it. It's so much fun. I never enjoyed decorating the homes too much in Animal Crossing. There's never there's always decorating the island itself as my main grab. But I've really gotten to enjoy decorating homes more because of this DLC. I think it's allowed me to enjoy it more, so it's fun. I also have been playing Death's Door, which I love. It's so good. I waited for it to come out on the Switch, and I'm so happy that I did, because I feel like it's a perfect Switch game. It's so much fun. The story is very simplistic. The gameplay is really simplistic, but it scratches that Zelda itch that I always have. But it's in a really fun way. And sometimes it's really dark, and sometimes it's really cute. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. I also randomly downloaded League of Legends Wild Rift, which, for those of you who don't know, it's just League of Legends but on your cell phone. Because I don't know why. Something about it. I went back to look at the art, because I love the artwork for League of Legends characters. I always look at it every now and then. I'm like, God, it's so well done. And I was like, we'll try it. I'll download it. I've been enjoying it like crazy. It's been, the matches feel shorter than usual. But then again, I'm playing against robots, so I don't like playing against humans, because humans are mean. So, it's just a lot of fun. And then, of course, Metroid Dread, which I didn't know if I should put on this list, because I am playing it still, but man, am I just stuck on it. I just cannot. I don't know what to do, and I'm it's driving me crazy. So I get a little frustrated with that, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I won't be playing that for a little bit. But yeah, anyway, that is what I've been playing. Storygoers, we hope that you're doing well, and we hope that you enjoyed our last episode, which is our bedtime story, our Animal Crossing bedtime stories. Hopefully it wasn't too much too fast. I just had a lot of inspiration for wanting to do that. I thought it was kind of the perfect timing. And hopefully people enjoyed the ending, because I thought it was really sweet. Even though it would never actually happen in the game, but whatever. Ryan, were you able to listen to it by chance?
I listened to the first one. I wasn't able to listen to the
okay.
I actually just, because you're talking about the new music, I checked out the new music. Is the new music in the second one or in the first one?
In the second one.
Yeah, I just checked out the second one so I could listen to the new music while I was stepping away, and it sounded very good.
Yeah, that's very good.
But yeah, I haven't listened to the second one yet.
Yeah, for those of you who are ever curious, if you're looking for just nice melodies, someone who's really good at creating music. There is someone on Fiverr named W. Kitchener, and he's fantastic. He's done all the music for our show, and he's just such a cool guy. He's really, really nice, and he just does really good work, so I highly recommend him. He's great. So yeah, but hope you enjoyed those. Hopefully they were good. And if you are, we always see people downloading them every day. So, actually, our Spotify Wrapped came out for Tales, and it says the most popular time that people listen to us is between 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. or something like that, which makes a lot of sense. So
yeah, that perfect bedtime time.
Yeah. We've had a lot of downloads in some pretty crazy places. We've had a significant number of downloads in Japan recently, which is like blowing my mind that someone in Japan is listening to us. Like, wow, it's so cool. So thank you to everybody that's listening. Thank you to all storygoers around the world. I think our Spotify Wrapped was pretty cool, and it just made me feel really appreciated. Yeah. So it was really cool. So, but as always, storygoers, you can let us know how you feel about all the games or stories or whatever we cover on the show by emailing us at talesfromthecartridge@gmail.com. All of the E's are 3s. You can also find us on our social media and, I was going to say our social media and Instagram, but I meant Twitter and Instagram. And you can email or you can DM us or comment on our post. Let us know what you think about the show, and we'll happily read those on the show. You can also earn yourself a sweet Tales from the Cartridge sticker if you do so. It's great. You put it on everything. Put it on your forehead. Put it on your laptop. Put it on your water bottle. Put it on your local Starbucks. It goes everywhere. It looks great. I just got a tattoo the other day, and I put my water bottle on the counter when I was paying for my tattoo, and the tattoo artist said, Tales from the Cartridge, is that like a Mario thing? Because the letters look like Mario. And I was like, kind of. It's my podcast. But yeah, anyway. My point is, it looks great everywhere. Everyone's going to ask about it, even your tattoo artist.
Looks good. So. Everyone's talking about it.
Everyone's
talking about it. Out there.
Today it's December. And as we all know in the video game industry, is that special time of year where we all get together and talk about what the heck is the game of the year, and why I'm right and why you're wrong.
Yeah,
we hear at Tales
among gamers.
Yeah, and we're all passionate. But thankfully at Tales, I think we're pretty good about sharing our perspectives and being able to agree to disagree. Share it without criticism. No one's wrong. No one's essentially right either. It's just what we feel is right. So, if that makes sense, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, our plan for today. Actually, Ryan, you want to run us down for our plan so I can stop talking so much?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. If I get anything incorrect here. So, our plan today is we're going to go over the games that we've played this year, talk about the things we enjoyed, talk about all the wonderful stories and games that we engaged with this year. We're going to then jump into looking at the Game Awards and looking at all of the awards that are going to be at the Game Awards. And then Eric and I both have separate lists where we picked winners in these categories. And then we're going to share the winners of those categories. And we'll kind of have a back and forth about why and what we're thinking about that. And at the very end, we're going to talk about what announcements we think are going to happen at the Game Awards, because it has become a time-honored tradition to announce new games and announce new game-related media at the Game Awards. And rumors are this is going to be a really big year. So we have some announcements there. Did I miss anything there?
No, that was perfect. I'm glad I asked you because you did a much better job than I think I probably would have. So that was great. That was absolutely great. So Ryan, your list is very impressive. I feel like it's much better than my list.
No one list is better than another list. It's
okay. You're very nice. Do you want to run us? Do you like by fives? So I'll go by fives. So we'll take turns.
Yeah, we'll go by fives. Yeah. And I think the top of my list. No, okay, they're all random there. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So my top 5 on my list right now, and these are not ranked or anyway. These are just we kind of looked at all of the games that we've played this year and put them in a massive list. So there's no kind of one higher than the other. We can talk about our game of the year if you want at the end of this list, but as right, this is just the games we played this year. Inscription, Valheim, Humankind, Age of Empires 4, and It Takes Two. Almost all of them are on PC except It Takes Two is I'm playing on PS5 with my partner. So Inscription is a strategy card game, Valheim is a survival Viking experience, Humankind is like a Civ type game, and then Age of Empires 4 is obviously a real-time strategy game.
Inscription is the one that's a spooky card game, right?
Yes, so it is a spooky card game. Yeah, it is a game where I do not want to say too much because it takes some big twists and turns. If you played the other games by this developer, because it is a team, but it's a kind of a one guy led experience. If you played other stuff by this developer, he makes some weird, interesting stuff. He made a game called The Hex and Pony Island. I think it's called Pony Island. These very weird, interesting games. And Inscription is that, but obviously they got the budget from Devolver to make it this bigger, incredible experience. But yeah, it is the spooky game in the cabin. I don't want to say much more than that, but yes.
Okay.
What is really cool about this game, and you'll get this right away, is it is a card game similar to like Slay the Spire, where you're like building a deck and you're going through. But you can also get up off the table and walk around, and there's like escape room elements to the room you're in, and you can like solve puzzles in the room that then add stuff to your deck, or you can solve puzzles in the room that helps you progress the story in a different way than when you're playing the card game, in a really cool and interesting way. And then there's also some other stuff there that's just really incredible and really interesting. That I cannot wait to talk more about this game as more folks play it, because I mean it's been out for I think just over a month, so it's fairly new. But
I keep hearing about it.
Yeah.
Is it only on
PC?
It
is only on PC currently. It would be a really great game on Switch if it ever gets there. But this publisher by Devolver, maybe it will.
Yeah.
But traditionally, the which I can't think of his name. I think it's like Daniel Mullen or something like that. He's the developer. Traditionally, his games don't leave PC. His other game is The Hex. Did I say that right?
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
It's a game where you have 6 main characters from other video games in a tavern. There's been a murder, and you have to figure out who did the murder by playing a first-person shooter, by playing a platformer, by playing these other games, and getting their perspectives, so then you can figure out who the murderer is. Which is
that'd be a great Tales episode. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, very cool. Yeah. My first 5 are Apex Legends, Road 96, Deathloop, Avengers, and Guilty Gear Strive. And honestly, as I'm going through this list right now, Apex is I played at the beginning of the year mostly. I haven't really touched it in quite a while. Road 96 is great, but the graphics really held it back, I feel like, in a weird way. I know graphics shouldn't ever hold a game back necessarily, but at the same time, something about it was just kind of jarring. Deathloop was fantastic. Avengers, I had fun with you, Ryan.
Fun. We haven't gone back since they've done Wakanda and Spider-Man, which we need to.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, it'd be fun. I think the beginning of the story really dragged me down. I really should have forced myself to complete it, but I just never did. And then Guilty Gear Strive. I don't know about anyone else. I'm very curious. I love fighting games, but when I get the fighting game finally and I play it, I get so disheartened by how bad I am at fighting games that I just typically just don't go back to them. So I just pay this money for this game I play for probably a month, and then I'm like, all right. So yeah. Anyway, I'm curious if anyone else thinks that. Ryan, what's your next 5?
My next 5 are Destiny Season 14 and 15, Season of the Splicer, and Season of the Lost, which is the most recent season that are going to be ending in February. I've played a ton of Destiny this year, and actually they're just getting ready to announce the Triumphs, which is where you do a bunch of stuff to get a t-shirt, which I'm very excited about to get my t-shirt this year. Astro's Playroom, which is a game that shipped with the PS5, which is a game that I really was a really cool way to explore what a PS5 can do. Did that come out this year?
Yeah.
Or did that come out
last year?
Came out, when? That came out last year, because PS5 shipped with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Ignore Astros. Nah. Deathloop, a really phenomenal game by the folks at Arcane. Forgotten City, which is a murder mystery type game where you have to, solve. I think I talked about this a little bit in the past. There's a golden rule. Somebody's going to break it. You have to figure it out. And when you die, you loop through again.
Yeah.
Tribes of Midgar, which is by the folks over at Gearbox. I believe that they published or developed it. Where it's a survival game where you are a bunch of Vikings. I played this with our friend Dave a bunch. And then Marvel's Avengers, which we talked a little bit about.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Which, it was fun. Marvel's Avengers was fun.
It was very
playing
fun,
it together. I don't think I ever would play by myself, but I think playing it together was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be excited to play some more of that.
Yeah. My next 5 are Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, which, man, I actually had a lot. For my first, I played the remake Ratchet and Clank. I think I've talked about that on the show before, but the Rift Apart was just absolutely fantastic. Blew my mind. Returnal, again, which is another great one. New Pokemon Snap, which my 10-year-old self, or however old I was when I played the original Pokemon Snap, was so happy playing this game again. No More Heroes 3, which just was a bizarre, crazy, whacked out game, which is what it should be, and it was great. And then, of course, I don't know if I should even include this one, but I am, but it's The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword Remake for the Switch, which is a game that came out forever ago, 2011, I think, or something like that. But, I mean, It was re-released. I'm going to count it. That's my list was small.
And without having to use the motion controls, I've heard it's a pretty different experience.
It is. I think it's better. I like it. I personally like it better. Yeah. I think it's what held me back from enjoying it. I mean, I like the game. I like the game itself. I like the story a lot. But yeah, the gameplay is something I just wasn't super jiving with. Same with Twilight Princess. It was the same kind of thing. Great story, a lot of fun, but the motion controls were just kind of weird for me. So, yeah. Right, what is your next 5?
My next 5 is Biomutant, which is like an RPG game in this like post-apocalyptic world where you play this like animal. It's a really interesting game. It is a game that had a really cool premise, but the gameplay got old pretty quick, and it was a big open world that felt kind of empty. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is a game that I loved and had so much fun with, and I love that series and that game. Outriders, which is a game that has recently got an update that I haven't gone back and checked, but that was a game that came out this year that I played with our friend Dave, which is like a shooter game where you have all these kind of wild powers. Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which was the Assassin's Creed from this year. I believe it was this year. February, right? I believe February.
Was it? Probably. No, I don't know. I thought maybe November popped in my head for some reason. Oh.
Maybe I'm wrong there. Eric's quickly fact-checking me.
I am. Hold on 1 second. It came out November 10th, 2020.
Yeah, no, get out of here, Valhalla. Get on this list. Two of my on this list were illegal entries.
It's kind of hard nowadays, I feel like. It's hard to keep track because a lot of games get re-released or put back on new consoles. Like, it's been a weird year because of the PS5.
Or we play them late because we're old people with not any time.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Animal Crossing Happy Home, which I've loved and enjoyed to go back to, like I said. Pokemon Unite, which was really fun when we and our group of friends all played it together. That was such a great time to jump back into a MOBA for a while. And then because they're adding more stuff. And then my last 2 are... my last is just Metroid Dread, which would be number 6, but I don't have any after that. So, Metroid Dread, which... is a really great, wonderful game as well. But again, like you, I got stuck at a boss, or I got stuck somewhere in the game and have not gone back to finish it.
I got it. Yeah, that's the hard part about that's the hard part about Metroid games is that it's just when you get lost or you don't know what to do next, it is so hard to figure out because like it's just so. And I find this spot on the map like, oh my god, that's it. That's where I need to go. Like it makes sense, and I get there and I'm realizing that I didn't look at the map right, and it happens so often, and I get stuck and I get mad and I'm like, well, whatever. I'll just play Death's Door then. Like it's just like anger inducing. My last ones on my list are Pokemon Unite, and again, I'm bad at MOBAs, but I enjoy them a lot, like League of Legends. And so Pokemon MOBA is just like totally in my wheelhouse. Like, it was a lot of fun. I kind of want to go back. I keep meaning to play with our friend group who are still playing. Some of our friends are still playing. I just need to go back and play too. Death's Door, which I'm playing right now, and I'm loving it. It scratches that Zelda itch like none other than a Zelda game, I guess. But it's a lot of fun. It's really good. League of Legends Wild Rift, which I talked about already. Metroid Dread, which I talked about with you just now. And then, of course, Happy Home. Animal Crossing Happy Home, which I really feel like is just a whole new game. A whole new Animal Crossing experience. And it's just done so well. It's just so much fun. It's what I love about Animal Crossing games, it's just so relaxing. It's so chill. And it's funny because like I work in a crisis unit with kids, and a lot of the kids, come through, play video games and such. And I always try to bring up Animal Crossing, and a lot of times I find that the kids aren't really playing Animal Crossing. Like they don't really care about it. And it's more of the staff I work with that are playing Animal Crossing and playing Happy Home. Like it's more of adults who are playing this game around, at least around me, than it actually is the kids who it's probably marketed more towards. So it's just funny how that works. I think like it's really telling how we kind of need more just relaxing like stuff to do, and Animal Crossing is fantastic for that. So yeah, that is my list. I feel like it's always crazy to me, and I'm curious what other people think. Like when I make my lists for every year for the games I've played, it's always way smaller than I anticipate. Like I always feel like it should be like just massive, and it's always smaller. And I'm sure it'll get smaller and smaller as I get more responsibility, with growing up, and all that good stuff. But anyway, not to go down a depressing rabbit hole, but we are going to focus now on the Game of the Year Awards nominees. Ryan and I, as Ryan has said earlier, have made separate lists and have picked our winners. We also might we'll give our opinions on who we think should win each category. We might throw in our own picks as well with our choices. So
yeah, I figured about that.
Should we Well, actually, I don't know. Should we start Game of the Year first, or should we kind of just do that last with the most anticipated?
Yeah, let's save that with most anticipated at the end. I feel fine with that.
Okay, so we'll get rid of. We'll put that at the very end of the document, and then we will. So I'll do. How do you want to do? Game of the Year, the most anticipated, or vice versa?
Yeah, we'll do those at the end. No, we can do Game of the Year most anticipated because at least for me, anticipated means upcoming. Game of the Year is looking at the past year. Anticipated is looking at the future, which I feel. Yeah. Canonically, that feels better to my brain.
That feels better to me too. Yeah. All right. Well, then I guess we will start with best game direction, and we kind of took that as like the way the game is structured in terms of the direction in which the story is done and gameplay elements and all that good stuff. So the nominees are Deathloop, It Takes Two, Returnal, Psychonauts 2, and then Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Ryan, since I read the nominations, would you like to go first with what you think is best game direction? Because I am having an existential crisis of the choice I have, and I'm going back and forth in my mind right now.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I will say just for transparency, I have only played 3 of these 5 games. I have not played Psychonauts or Returnal. Of the other 3, I love Ratchet and Clank so much, but I think it's going to be Deathloop for me. It is a game that just, as a whole experience, I was so much more... I was really engaged with it. I loved the moment to moment. I loved the kind of seeing how it was going to play out. I really loved Deathloop as a game, and I'm excited to see where they go more with that franchise and where they go more with those characters and experiences. Ratchet and Clank, I'm excited for that too, but I think Deathloop was a game that I think did it more for me. What about you? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, so
you've played Returnal, and I think that was a game you really enjoyed. So.
I did, yeah. I played Deathloop, I played Returnal, and I played Ratchet and Clank. I did not play Psychonauts or It Takes Two. I have It Takes Two, but I realized I needed another controller, so it's just sitting on my PlayStation. I need to get a controller. But I was back and forth. So Deathloop, Returnal, and Ratchet and Clank all have fantastic game directions. But I think my gut feeling was actually Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Okay. I think so. What Deathloop and Returnal did so well was the kind of reversing back in time mechanic and starting fresh, and kind of like a roguelike situation, which I think Returnal is roguelike, but Deathloop's not essentially. I don't think it's classified as a roguelike, but why I picked Ratchet and Clank is I just found it was so fun that you're going through all these different dimensions, all these different things are happening in real time, and I think it just kind of made the direction really fun for Ratchet and Clank. It took a game that was already fun and made it more fun in a new way, and I think that direction really helped the game. It really sold the game for me, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I feel like it's almost sacrilegious to say it's not Deathloop. I think Returnal's great, but it just didn't offer as much impressive direction as Deathloop did, but I think Ratchet and Clank takes it for me. So, okay. Yeah. All right, next one is Best Ongoing. So, the nominees are Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, Final Fantasy XIV Online, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact.
Eric, I have not played any of these games. So for me, like, my best ongoing game would be probably Destiny 2, as a live service game that I've been playing for years and years and years, and will continue to be playing. So unfortunately, I don't. None of these games I have played. I know you and friends have played Apex a bunch. Yeah. Call of Duty Warzone, I have no interest in. I've heard a lot of really incredible things about Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah,
I'm just not a big Final Fantasy person. The only Fortnite I've played is back in the day when there was a single player campaign, and I played none of Genshin Impact.
I picked Apex just because it's the only game I've played as well. Though I've heard that Final Fantasy XIV is just doing amazing things. Like, it's crazy how popular it is right now, which is great. Good for them. Like, I did not expect that to happen with Final Fantasy XIV Online. So it's very cool. And it still blows my mind how popular Fortnite is. Like, spoiler alert, as I just read this article about the end of the newest season for Fortnite, so if you don't want to know what happens and you're part of that community, and so just skip ahead a little bit, but they just introduced The Rock into the game. Like, The Rock is a character now, and now Spider-Man's in it for the new season, for season 3. So, like, it's just a game. So, but it blows my mind. So, like, I just don't understand I get why they bring these characters in, right? They're popular characters. They're going to sell skins. Like, it makes total sense. But, like, they just included Naruto, right? As the ninja in a world that does not have guns, but you just see Naruto running around with, like, AK-47 in his hand, shooting people down. Yeah. And the same thing with, like, Marvel characters. Like, Captain America's running around with a gun, which he has done in the comics too, but it's just weird because they're basing off the Marvel movies, Captain America, it seems like, and he's just running around with a gun shooting people, or Spider-Man's gonna be running around with a gun shooting people, and it's just like, it just feels so weird and like out of place. So I almost feel like Fortnite's going in the wrong direction. Like, I don't know. It's just, to me, it doesn't seem great. Like, you're just bringing these skins for skin's sake rather than embracing what the character is. I think it could be way better than what it is. Like, can you imagine Spider-Man swinging around Fortnite Island or whatever the heck it's called? And, like, that'd be so cool. Like, he needs to stop people from shooting at him. Like, he gets to stop. Like, that would be amazing. Granted, it'd be very hard to probably make that. But it would be worth it. I'm sure bring people in and people would play it. So... But yeah. Anyway, long story short, Apex Legends. It's the only game I played. Ryan, you want to read us the best narrative?
I would love to. Best narrative, the nominees are Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange True Colors, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Psychonauts 2.
I'm sure It Takes Two for you, Ryan, right? Best narrative, I'm sure.
Certainly. Oh, man, that game has... A bad narrative with bad messages and bad things.
That's rough.
That is encouraging. Like the premise of the game, if you don't know, and I do not have to go on It Takes Two rant. You can cut this, Eric, if it goes on too long.
Okay.
But the premise of this game is that there are these two people, and they're not getting along, and they want to get a divorce. Their young daughter overhears them wanting to get a divorce. I'm not going to spoil anything beyond the intro. Overhears them wanting a divorce, and she cries onto a book. And that book comes to life and turns their mom and dad into these like tiny... Dad is a tiny person made of clay. Mom is a tiny doll made of wood. And now they have to work together to get through all these weird, fantastical situations in order to turn back into themselves. And the start of the game, you're like in a garage, and then you get into the house, and you go into your daughter's room, and then you after you get through that first section, then you're like... delving into, hey, let's learn about your partner's passions and help them with that. Hey, let's figure out how we can work together. And in a way that is like, I can see what they're trying to do, but it is like the characters are all kind of just mean to each other. The book is very annoying and kind of problematic. And like, there's some like really bad, like I mentioned earlier, the part where you have to like rip a stuffed animal apart as it's begging you not to make your daughter cry, which just feels like so gross and problematic.
Yeah.
And then there are other stuff like that where like you're murdering a vacuum in like a really gruesome way, as it again is like saying, no, please stop. No, it just does not feel good. Moment to moment, the experience is fun to play with another person, but the story and the characters are bad and terrible. I haven't finished it. Maybe it'll do a 180 and everything will finish really great and they'll be punished for their crimes. But I think in the end, they're going to end up like, you know what? Actually, maybe we should be together after getting through this experience, and let's forget about the trauma we put our daughter through.
We're both awful people. We should be together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wait, was the bear and vacuum cleaner like quote unquote like evil? Are they bad guys? Like,
so the stuffed animal was not evil, was actually like your daughter's favorite toy. The reason you're destroying it is to make your daughter cry. It is like when you first greet it says, "I'm so glad to meet you. Can I invite you for tea?" And then you chase her into a claw machine, and you chase her into a claw machine,
You're spoiling
pull her out of the claw machine, and then as she's running away, you're like pulling on her and her leg rips off and stuffing comes out.
What?
And then she's running away again. Her ear gets caught on an attack and you rip her ear off and then you throw her off the top of a dresser where she falls to the ground. Your daughter hears it, goes over, picks it up and starts crying. And the two dolls are dancing underneath their daughter's tears, excited to turn back. And then they don't turn back. It's a whole thing. So it was all for nothing. It's like kind of like traumatic in a way that is like really bad. Yeah. And the vacuum wasn't necessarily evil. It was just like the vacuum was put in the garage because one of the characters didn't take care of it and was like, "You need to take care of me. Why don't you finish things?" And then they like made the vacuum suck its own eyes out, and it was like kind of gruesome and terrible.
This is insane. Literally,
it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane.
Oh my god. Okay.
Came from the mind of an insane person.
I guess so. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Anyway,
so that's my It Takes Two rant. Why it should not be the best narrative.
Well, on that note, Ryan, which one do you think should be the best narrative?
Of these, I have only played It Takes Two and Deathloop, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to have to give it to Deathloop.
Yeah.
Because between It Takes Two and Deathloop, I've heard really good things about Life is Strange. I've heard really good things about Guardians of the Galaxy. I've heard really great things about Psychonauts. I just haven't played them. So I think I have to give it to Deathloop.
I'm in the same boat as you. I've only played Deathloop, so I had to pick Deathloop. I think I don't want to say I probably would regardless. I just think Deathloop did such a great job with this narrative. Yeah. It made it fun and interesting, even though you're kind of reliving the same day over and over and over again. Like, that's what made it fun. Because like when you do different things happen in the narrative. Obviously, that sounds stupid to say out loud, but like when you relive the same day over and over again, it's very repetitive until you do something new and like, wow, this is a whole new thing that's happening. Like it's really fun. Like you're creating a story that's essentially the same thing over and over and over again. That's like, I don't know. I'm not doing it justice right now by explaining it this way, but I just really enjoyed Deathloop's narrative. I think Life is Strange always has a really cool narrative. I think that it could definitely be one that it could definitely win. And also Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. It sounds like it's a great game. Like it's such a better job than Marvel's Avengers did. And it sounds like people are really loving it. I know there's a lot of passionate Psychonauts 2 fans out there. I just have a feeling that wouldn't, compared to all the other games, Psychonauts 2 probably would not take it. But you never know. You never know.
Yeah. Maybe we'll explore Psychonauts in the future and see what we...
Yeah. Next category is Best Indie Game. There's 12 Minutes, Death's Door, Kena, Bridge of Spirits. I hope I'm saying that name right. Inscription. Oh no, Ryan. This is going to be so hard for you. And Loop Hero. For me personally, I've only played Death's Door. And I really... I just unplugged my headphones. Hold on. Awkward. Okay, here we go.
He doesn't want to hear anything else. He said his piece and he's gone.
Only Death's Door. Don't tell me otherwise. It's not Inscription as I pull up my headphones. I actually, after you told me about Inscription, I met other friends. Like, I have friends also that have been playing this too, that have been telling me about Inscription and how much they love it and how crazy it is. So I'm super interested in playing it. I can totally see it winning. I think 12 Minutes is also a game I'm very interested in. I don't have Xbox or Game Pass on the PC right now, as I'm too cheap. But I would love to play 12 Minutes. I think it's a game. It sounds like it was a long time in the making, so I think that sounds like a really fun game that could totally win. But for me, Death's Door is just that perfect Zelda itch-scratching game. So, what about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, so 12 Minutes I don't know a ton about. Death's Door I've heard really good things about from you and others. Bridge of Spirits looks incredible. I cannot believe that is made by an indie studio because that game looks so phenomenal. Yeah, but it's not a game that I've played. Inscription is probably my game of the year, so I think I'm going to have to go with Inscription.
Spoilers!
and yeah, spoilers. Oh, wait, we can cut that out. Yeah. Inscription is a game that I've really loved, so I think I'm going to have to give it to Inscription. It is such an interesting and different and wild game that I think it has to be. Loop Hero, I've heard good things as well. And Eric, I'm looking at this list. 3 of these games are published by Devolver. So Devolver, you're doing good work out there.
There you are. Devolver always like, and say what you will about their E3 videos and how but at least they try, and that's what I care about. Did I turn it off like halfway through last time because I just wasn't having it? Yeah, but being honest, the whole spaceship thing that they were doing was just not going with me. But I appreciate what they're trying to do. They're doing a good job, so they're doing great. I need to try Inscription now. I'm almost like really tempted to buy it. Is it cheap?
Please do. It's like $20.
Oh, it's not bad at all.
It's not super. I think it's like $20 on Steam. It's really cool. It's like I said, it is a game that it just does some weird things. It goes to some weird places in a really cool way.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Gotta play it.
I've seen. I think I know at least one of the mutual friends you're talking about because I see in the Steam achievements that person has been playing this game a bunch.
Yep, so, I'm sure it's the same person. Yeah, so. Which I need to get. We need to get on the show. I think he'd be great. Maybe would Inscription be a good Tales episode?
Maybe it has a lot of weird and wild turns, but there's a way you could do it. There's a way you could do it. Well, we could talk more about it, but there's a way I think you could maybe do it. It's interesting.
I'll have to get in and play it. So I would love it. I just need to take a week off. There's a week. I'm going to take a week off in next April, which is a ways away. But I think I'm just going to try to beat as many games as possible in my backlog.
You should do it.
All right, next category is Best Mobile Game. I only include this because I played one of them. I don't know about you, Ryan, but I'm going to read them anyway.
I have played one of these games, and I didn't play it on a mobile platform.
Perfect. Then we're definitely qualified to read this one and give our opinion. There is Fantasian, which I've never heard of, Genshin Impact, League of Legends Wild Rift, Marvel Future Evolution, and Pokemon Unite. So, for me personally, I picked League of Legends that just picked it up, and I've been really enjoying it a lot. I'm to the point where I'm contemplating buying skins, which I should never do for any game ever, because once I buy the skin, it's over. I don't play it anymore. So I just need to just let that. It's like, you know, you have that thing like when you are. Like, say, for example, for video games, you know that game is coming out soon, like, you're super pumped for it, and then it comes out and you play it, and you're like, okay. And that excitement is totally just fizzled away. You know what I mean? Because you have that game finally. It's the same with skins for me. If I see a skin, I'm like, oh my god, I need to have that skin. It's so cool. And I never buy skins. But when I do, in the off chance buy a skin, it just kind of like, oh, now I'm used to this. This isn't as cool as I thought it was. You know, then it like fizzles out. But if I keep that excitement and that pure joy of, I could buy the skin one day, it keeps me engaged more. It's really weird.
Whatever works for your brain, man.
Yeah.
Brains are weird.
Brains are weird, man. They're so weird. Ryan, what game would you think?
Yeah, I think, and again, I don't know. Pokemon Unite, I think, is it for me. But again, I have played it on Switch. I have not played it on a mobile platform. But of these games, it's the only one I've played. So I think for me, it's going to be Pokemon Unite.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I think it's probably between League of Legends and Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact continues to be really popular, and I don't ever hear much about it from people, but I just know that it's still a game that everyone loves, and it's getting support still, and so. But you never know. Pokemon Unite could come through and get it. You never know. So a lot of good choices. I still have no idea what Fantasian is. I probably never will. I'm not going to look it up. Sorry. Unless someone writes in and tells me to, then I will. But
writes in and tell us. Tell us why Fantasian is the best game ever made, and then
we'll look at it. Yeah, all the anime waifus or whatever. Anyway, next category is Best Action Game.
Yes.
Categories are Back 4 Blood, Chivalry 2, Deathloop, Far Cry 6, and Returnal. Ryan, what are your thoughts? Which ones have you played?
I have only played Deathloop.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard quite a bit about Back 4 Blood. I have heard quite a bit about Far Cry, and I've heard a bit about Returnal.
Yeah.
But Deathloop is the only of these that I've played. I think Back 4 Blood is such a cool and interesting. Left 4 Dead is a game series that I love.
Yeah,
and I missed the boat on playing Left 4 Dead when it was at its peak. So like I played it after the fact with a bunch of folks on Couch Co-op.
Mm-hmm.
But those game experiences are just so much fun.
Yeah,
and I would love to dive back in and have some more of that.
Let's convince some of our friends to buy it. Let's play it together.
Yeah,
I'm totally down.
It's looked like such a fun experience, just running through, fighting waves of zombies, yelling out things, and just being in the weird wild. That would be a really good time. I'd love that.
That'd be cool.
Chivalry 2, I have not touched, or do I know anything about? Chivalry 1 is just a game that I wasn't interested because I knew it would be bad about it. The idea is cool, but it's just not something I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be Deathloop. I'm sure Far Cry 6 is interesting and fun, but I haven't. I lost a lot of hype for it when actually I saw more of the game.
Me too.
Yeah.
I thought when
Returnal, I just haven't played.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I think I know what you're talking about. When they released that trailer that really like kind of demoed or showcased what the game is in game, it actually kind of turned me off from wanting to play it. I was actually kind of interested. But yeah, then I saw, I don't know, I saw it, and even the Macarena vinyl gun that they showed off, I wasn't jiving with, or CD. It was a CD launcher, I think, which is made me laugh because like now CDs are obsolete and they're the old thing now to use in games as a weapon. So yeah, I don't know. Something about Far Cry 6. I feel like it's lost its way in a weird way. I don't know. It's but for me, the game I picked was Returnal. I think Returnal. Thinking back at Returnal, granted, I only played Returnal and Deathloop. I didn't play anything else in this category. But Returnal was a game that like really pushed me because I knew that sometimes I was underleveled or my guns weren't good enough, but I could still beat this boss if I pushed myself hard enough. And the action was intense, and it was like crazy, and the set pieces were insane. Like just the visuals alone as you're fighting these monsters was gripping because like it was just so different than anything I've really played in a while. So Returnal, I think, for me is the obvious pick. It's just a lot of fun. It's the reason why I kept going back. You know, the story was bonkers, didn't make a whole lot of sense unless you really piece it together. But the action and playing it and getting through the levels is what brought me back. So that definitely earns my Best Action award.
Right, do you want me to read? Yeah,
go for it.
The next is Best Action Adventure. We have Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, what of these games have you played, and what are your thoughts?
I played Metroid Dread and Ratchet and Clank. Mm-hmm. I really want to play Marvel's Guardians so bad. And then the other two, Psychonauts 2 and Resident Evil Village, I think eventually I will play, but just not anytime soon. But for me, personally, I have to give it to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Like, it is just so much fun. It's so bonkers. It has action and adventure. So for me, like, Metroid Dread is definitely an action adventure game, but I think of it more of as an adventure game kind of than action. I don't think of it as an action game per se, but Ratchet and Clank has both action and adventure. You're going on this wild ride to different planets with all these crazy guns, and it's just like such a great time. I think it just really encapsulates the idea of action adventure. So definitely Ratchet and Clank for me. What about you?
Yeah, I think I have to agree. Ratchet and Clank moment to moment is so interesting and exciting. They have these really cool set pieces, really cool weapons. It just was a really fun experience from start to finish. Mm-hmm. So I think it's pretty easy to be free to give it to Ratchet and Clank. Yeah. I haven't played Guardians of the Galaxy. I've played Metroid Dread, but that like you, that game certainly feels like an adventure game. But there is certainly more of like a horror element in some ways. It's like a puzzle in some ways that just isn't the same. Like, wow, this is a big, amazing experience in the same way as I think Ratchet and Clank is. Yeah. Resident Evil Village, I've watched a full playthrough of, and it's a really cool experience, but I don't think I personally would enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Ratchet and Clank. Yeah. I think you're right, though. I think because like Resident Evil Village, I think I watched a little bit of it, and it's definitely an adventure, and there's definitely a lot of action to it, so it has definitely a good chance of winning this thing. And same with Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that has equal, and maybe Psychonauts 2. I don't know a whole lot about Psychonauts 2, quite honestly. But I just think that Ratchet and Clank just does it's just literally such a great game. Like, for someone who was not into Ratchet and Clank before this year, or recently, I just fell in love with it because of the action adventure part of it. Like, it's just so much fun. Very, very, very good game. Highly recommend. So, next one is Best Fighting Game. Yeah. Ryan, I don't think you said you don't really play a whole lot of fighting games, so I don't. Yeah. So I have to give it to Nintendo All Stars, I think.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna say it's totally legit. It's totally legit.
No, I have not. Unfortunately, I have not played any of these games. Yeah, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. So, do you want me to do the categories, and you can?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Do the chatting. Best Fighting Game. We have Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yabai, the Hokami Chronicles.
Great job.
Guilty Gear Strive. Yeah. Melty Blood, Type Lumina, Nickelodeon's All-Stars, Brawl, and Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, which I cannot believe they're still making Virtua Fighters, but they are.
I mean, it is essentially like a re-release of an older Virtua Fighter. Yeah. So I gave it, I've only ever played Guilty Gear, though I've seen all of these. So I gave it to Guilty Gear just because that's one I've played, and that's one I've enjoyed the most. For those of you who have played and you haven't gone back, really, they just released a character named Happy Chaos, and he's so cool. He's a lot of fun. He's a gunslinging weirdo Joker type of character, and he's a lot of fun. So, but I do watch a lot of fighting games on YouTube just because, work can be boring and you need a break. So I watch a lot of these things and listen to these things. But Demon Slayer is just not my go-to. It just feels like it's a fighting game, but it is like just not. It doesn't feel legit. It's more like a fun fighting game in terms of like it's not like you can't get better at it. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong. It's like a Naruto Strikers kind of game where I don't know how to describe it. It's just not my cup of tea. Melty Blood, I was not into the animation style. It looks kind of meh to me. Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl is just crazy to me. It's like the craziest out of there thing that they've done in so long. And granted, it looks kind of like, it looks fun. It looks like a fun time, but it doesn't look like a game. It doesn't look like a game where I'm going to take it serious. Like I'm not going to seriously commit my time to Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. It's not going to be the next Smash Brothers. I really don't see that happening. Yeah. And then Virtua Fighter. I think Virtua Fighter 5 is a good talk because it may be a really good fighting game, and I think it is. But when you think of best fighting game, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I have to think of how it does online, how he's like, I feel like a part of fighting games is fighting other people. And so, the netcode is really important for those games. So Virtua Fighter 5, the big problem with it is that it didn't have rollback netcode, and rollback netcode is this kind of new netcode that people use oftentimes in fighting games now that allows you to have better connections with people all across the world. You don't have to be closer to have a better connection. And Virtua Fighter 5 was lacking that. So that really hit it hard in terms of its playability. So yeah, anyway, long story short, Guilty Gear Strive is a great fighting game. I highly recommend it. Though I am super pumped for... so the Arc System Works as the developer. They're releasing a game called DNF Fighter or DNF Duel. That's what it is. DNF Duel. Made by Arc System Works and the guys that made Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And it looks like a lot of fun. I'm very excited for it. So probably the next big fighting game that comes out that I want to play. So anyway, that's my fighting game rant.
Yeah, no, it was wonderful. I love hearing you talk about fighting games because it is just this world that I have no idea about. It is really wonderful to hear you talk about
thanks.
These things. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
I can read off the best debut indie games, if that's okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
I really saw the first one. I thought, crap, I think I mispronounced it the first time, so let's see how I do this time. There's Kena, Bridge of Spirits. Is that right, Kena? I think it's Kena. English is a bonkers language, man. It really is the worst.
It is.
Yeah. Sable, The Artful Escape, The Forgotten City, and Valheim. So for me personally, Ryan, I've only played one of these games. I played Valheim, but I didn't really get super into it, so I gave it to Valheim just because it's the only one I've played. So, which doesn't mean a whole lot, but... I'm curious what your thoughts are, because I think you've played 2 of these games, right?
I've played 2 of these, yeah. So I haven't played Bridge of Spirits. I have not played Sable. I don't actually know what Sable is. I don't know what Artful Escape is, but I will probably look into these after because I'm sure they're very wonderful games.
Yeah.
I've played The Forgotten City. Me and my partner played Forgotten City, and it was a really cool kind of mystery game. Visually, it looks kind of like a nicer looking Skyrim almost.
Yeah.
It actually is based on a Skyrim mod.
Is it really? That's cool.
Yeah. There's a mod in Skyrim that this is then the folks working on this created its own game.
Wow.
And then Valheim, which is a game I have played a ton of and really love. Forgotten City is a really great, interesting game where you're trying to figure out this world. You walk all around it. There are a lot of puzzles and people to talk to. It has this cool system where you have to. One of my favorite things about this game is it's a game where you die and you respawn. When you respawn, there's a person there waiting for you, like to brief you on the world. You could say, "Hey, before you say anything, I need you to go talk to this person, go save this person, and go do this." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then he walks off and does it. So then you don't have to worry about doing those things. And just like a really fun, like it knows what it's trying to do way that it was really, really fun.
Yeah.
That being said, I wanted to make sure I gave Forgotten City some time because I think I have to give it to Valheim as well. It's a game that me and my friend Dave, and I've played with Jesse, and I've played with Dakota, another person I played D&D with, and I've played with you briefly. It's just a really fun experience. There's something... It is a game that is also incredibly frustrating, but there's something so cool about you build a ship, you sail to this swamp, and across the ocean. And how this game works is there's teleporters, but you can't teleport like metals, like rare metals. So you have to physically bring them back. So you teleport, you go to sail your ship to this swamp, you build a little hut so you can sleep in it. And then you spend 4 hours dying over and over again in the swamp, gathering iron to put on the ship, and you have to sail it back to your house. And there are like sea serpents that can attack you. There are things that can go wrong, and it's such this cool experience, this fun, like capturing that being a Viking experience of taking your loot back home and sailing it across the ocean, but there's still this risk of something going wrong. There's so much tension or drama that comes from that, or like sailing the small channels to get back to your base as like ogres are throwing trees at you from the bank. That just is so interesting and fun. And then like you can build a little town out of like stone and metal and stuff, which is very fun. So yeah. I think I have to give it to Valheim. It is a game that I loved, and when it came out, it is huge. It actually just came out with a new update where they added a new biome, which I haven't gone back to, the Mistlands. So and they've added more house decorating stuff, and there's more stuff coming. But it is just a really wonderful game. I haven't played the other 3, but I think I gotta give it to Valheim.
I mean, Valheim, granted, I didn't play very much of it, but geez, when it came out, like it was huge. It was huge.
Yeah.
Everyone was playing it. I mean, Twitch really helped bring it into the front of, the front of everybody's attention. So it was like really cool. So yeah, I think Valheim deserves it, quite honestly. And honestly, if not Valheim, I think that, based on my perception of what these games are, granted, I don't know what Sable or the Artful Escape is, so I don't know if my opinion really matters a whole lot, but I think Kena sounds like a great game. It is, like you're saying, it is beautiful. So the fact that it's an indie game blows my mind. So it could equally be worthy of this award. So yeah. Well, best family game. Ryan, I would love if you could read this list.
I would love to read this list.
Cool.
Best family game. First is It Takes Two, which I think is a crime. Next is Mario Party Superstars, New Pokemon Snap, Super Mario 3D World, and Bowser's Fury, and then WarioWare
wait.
together.
Oh, Bowser's Fury. I read Wario, and then I thought you said Warrior's Fury. I was like, no, it's Bowser. I'm stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so It Takes Two, New Super Mario Party, New Pokemon Snap, Super Mario 3D, and Bowser's Fury, and WarioWare Get It Together, which four of these games are Nintendo games, which is pretty wild. And like New Pokemon Snap is redoing a Pokemon Snap. Yep. Super Mario 3D is a re-release of a Wii U game with an add-on. WarioWare is just more WarioWare, and then Mario Party Superstars. So that's pretty wild that Nintendo's. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
And then It Takes Two should not be on this list. It's not a family game. It is a game for only adults who
want to have bad relationships and be bad people.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It made their daughters cry.
Yeah, exactly. So I have played only one of these, and it just cannot be It Takes Two. So Eric, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this one.
That is so funny. I think you make a great point, Ryan. Like, you're pointing out something really impactful is that Nintendo knows how to make family games. Family games sell, right? As we live in a world where a lot of people believe that like negative, like harmful video games, really graphic, violent video games often leads kids to go down a wrong path. And that's a whole other story, whether you believe it or not. And I'm not trying to prove yes or no, because honestly, I don't think that is true. But my point is, though, is that family games sell because parents look at family games and they go, that's great. We can play that together. I'm not going to be lost. I don't have to aim a gun and shoot at something. Like, it's fun, right? So I've only played one of these games, though I've seen a lot of Mario 3D World and I've seen a lot of Mario Party Superstars. And I saw a little bit of WarioWare as well. But for me, it has to go to New Pokemon Snap. It's the only game I played, but it is so much fun. My partner and I played it for so long, and my partner is not someone who played a lot of video games growing up. Some N64, and that was about it. But Pokemon Snap was one of those games that she played. So, and I was the same way. I played a lot of N64. I played a lot of Pokemon Snap. So when it came out, we actually had bought the original Pokemon Snap for the N64. Beat that in time for new Pokemon Snap to come out. And it was just such an awesome transition. It's just so much fun. It's relaxing, unless you're trying to do something specifically in the game, which can be insanely frustrating. But, you know, it's a game that's just so much fun, and it kind of makes you feel like you're back in that world. I don't know about you, Ryan, but like Pokemon has been such a huge part of my childhood, and even into adulthood now. Like it just persists. Like I haven't played Diamond or Pearl yet. I've never played those two, but now I'm like very interested in playing those because the idea of going back into a world of Pokemon, it sounds so much fun. And those games are very easy. They're very samey. Say what you will, but man, it's just something beautiful. It's something fun about it. And I mean, you know, take away the idea of animals fighting each other and forcing them to fight each other. That's not very cool, and that would never fly in the real world. Oh, or maybe it would actually. I don't know. But the point is, though, is that it's just new Pokemon Snap is so just relaxing. It's fun, and you feel like you're a part of that world, and that's what I appreciate the most about it. So I know for sure, Ryan, if Pokemon were real, I would not be a Pokemon trainer. I think I would be a photographer, quite honestly. It'd be a lot of fun just to roam around and get photos of Pokemon. Yeah. So, but yeah. New Pokemon Snap is fantastic. I highly recommend it. But I don't know, WarioWare, I watched a little bit of it in a gameplay and wasn't super impressed by it. It looks like a lot of fun, but nothing crazy.
From what I hear, it's like less fun than the old WarioWare games. Like you're forced to play these games in very specific ways based on the random character you get or the character you choose.
Yep.
In a way that like makes it less fun than before when you were just like picking a dude's nose. Now you have to like pick a dude's nose while you're skateboarding in one direction across the screen in 5 seconds, which is like less enjoyable.
Yeah, it's more stressful and less fun.
Yeah.
So 100%. The next game, I have not played any of these, but I will read, Ryan, because you have played one or I think 3 potentially. I don't know. Definitely 2.
Is it Sim Strategy?
Yes. So
I've played 3, and I've seen a lot of Evil Geniuses, and I've seen quite a bit of Flight Sim.
Oh, okay. All right. So best. I'm going to stay out of this one, but Ryan, I would love your perspective on this one. Best Sim/strategy game. Categories are Age of Empires 4, Evil Genius 2, World Domination. That's funny. Humankind, Inscription, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. So Ryan, I'm curious what your thoughts are. What you would pick?
Yeah, there's a lot of really good games here, and I've played and seen all of them. That certainly does not make me an expert, but this like sim strategy is kind of my jam a little bit. Age of Empires 4 is a really great game if you like Age of Empires. It is just more Age of Empires. Mm-hmm. There's nothing new about it other than it looks nicer. There's not a ton of huge mechanical changes. There's not like a bunch of new mechanics. It is just more Age of Empires. And Age of Empires is a fun RTS if you like RTSs, but if you don't, you're just not going to enjoy it. And it's not nearly as fast paced as like a StarCraft. Or StarCraft 2 more likely than some of these other RTSs out there. But if you enjoyed Age of Empires 2 back in the day like I did, then you will enjoy Age of Empires. There's something satisfying about like, and I have a very particular playstyle about like building a castle and just surrounding it with archers and letting them send guys at you over and over again while you like slowly build a castle closer and closer to them. That is like, there's just something really fun about that. Evil Geniuses 2 is a really interesting game where you play an evil genius and you build like a secret evil base, and your base is a front of some kind. So maybe your base is you're effectively a Bond villain, and you build a secret base in some way, and you have to manage like having a bank vault and manage having a science lab and managing having like henchmen training things because you have henchmen in your base, and over time you like take over the world, and you have schemes, and you like turn people to gold, and you have all these like really big, really silly, ridiculous. You're just a big Bond villain, and a really kind of fun. It's a game that I haven't played, but I've like seen a lot played, and I think I would really enjoy it. It has that like same with Oxygen Not Included, that like manage me bit to it that I really love. Humankind is very similar to Civ. It's a very good game. I loved it a lot. I didn't play it a ton just because when it came out, I was playing other things. But Humankind, if you like that Civ type game, it is really good. I think it is in some ways better than Civ, a little less accessible than Civ. Yeah. But really, really good. Inscription I've talked about. I love this game. It is very cool. I hope you enjoy it. It is very creepy and very weird and very fun. And it is a game that I kind of want to play through again because it'll be a different experience. And then Flight Sim is just like this incredibly wild feat of technology that I just cannot fully wrap my head around, that you could like take off in Florida and fly to, across the ocean or fly however, and it would actually take as long as it would take. Yeah. And it would like all be generated from satellites taking pictures. It just blows my mind in a way that I cannot fully understand. That is just phenomenal. So cool. I think I have to give it, me personally, in Inscription because it is a game that I love so much. But I think any of these games, depending on what your strategy game of choice is, if you love RTSs, it's probably Age of Empires. If you love manager games, it's probably Evil Geniuses. If you love, what is it called? It's not 4X, but like grand strategy games, Humankind. And if you have the money to get a really cool flight stick and have a computer that can run Flight Sim, then you probably really like Flight Sim. But for me, it's got to be Inscription. For similar reasons, so I love games like Obra Dinn. It's just so different and weird and interesting and cool. I think it's got to be Inscription for me. Yeah,
I think if I had to guess, I really feel like Flight Simulator might take it just because it's so. I think so too. Big when it came out, and I think it's just so impressive. Like you were saying, it takes pictures and updates, and like it's just crazy. Like literally, people were on Twitch were like doing 24-hour streams, flying from here to here, which is the longest flight in the world, and they were just doing that. Like it was so big. I feel like that easily could do it, but I feel like Age of Empires 4 could also do it too. I hear a lot about that as well. So yeah,
actually, the guy who created Inscription tweeted out the other day, said, when 6 years ago, when I set out to make a game that would beat Flight Simulator Age of Empires in the Game Awards, I finally made it. And then he posted a picture of the Game Awards announcements.
He sounds like a cool dude.
Yeah, he seems like a cool dude. Hopefully he's not very problematic in some way that I don't know about.
But. We released this in the day after, day before he was doing all these horrible things, All right, well, next is Best Multiplayer Game. The nominees are Back 4 Blood, It Takes Two, Knockout City, Monster Hunter Rise, New World, and Valheim. And again, I played basically none of these, only Valheim, though I have an opinion who I think might win. So, Ryan, I think you've played at least two of these games. I'm curious what you think the winners
should be. So I've played It Takes Two, which is a really good multiplayer experience. I cannot stress enough that the experience of the multiplayer in that game is very innovative and fun and interesting. And that, like for example, one of the powers you have is like one person has a match gun, and one person has a sap launcher, and you shoot sap and it sticks to things. The sap, the match gun is a gun, but also if it hits the sap, it explodes. So you in combination use that to solve puzzles. Another one was in one of the ones recent one we did. I was a magnet that was red. She was a magnet that was blue. She could push things that were metal that were blue. I could pull things that were metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we manipulated the world in that way. One, I could turn into a plant, and she sheared things and watered things, right? There are these really cool mechanical combinations, but unfortunately you're bogged down by this, just a bunch of really bad characters and bad story. I tried Monster Hunter Rise, and I did not enjoy it. And Valheim I played a bunch of, which I really enjoyed. So I think... For me, it will probably go to Valheim, but I don't think it will win Best Multiplayer. I think it'll probably go to, my guess would be New Year World.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Because I've heard so much about New World, and maybe it's just the folks I follow on Twitter and on Twitch are always playing it, but I've heard so much about it. But for me, I think it'll have to be Valheim.
Yeah. I think between the two, it'll probably be either New World or Valheim, but I think based on what I've heard about New World, I guess it's pretty popular. So, yeah. I think it'll probably be New World. Though I have heard good things about Knockout City. I have heard it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure that's a fun.
Mm-hmm. It sounds kind of forgettable, unfortunately, for them. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. Next category is Best Art Direction. Ryan, would you like to read categories?
I would love to.
Cool.
Best Art Direction, we have Deathloop, Kana, Something, Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and The Artful Escape, which I really want to check out this Artful Escape game. I've seen it so many times. But Eric, what are your thoughts on these games? So
I've only played Deathloop and Ratchet and Clank, but I know of the artwork for all of them. So art is yeah. So we've seen. Oh, actually, not for. I just totally lied. I don't know about Artful Escape. So I don't know about that one, so I can't include that one. But I have seen Kena, I've seen Psychonauts 2, and I've played Deathloop and Ratchet and Clank. And for me personally, one of these games I actually brought up the artwork for because I've seen the artwork used similarly in other games, the art style in other games, and I just love it. And the game I'm talking about is Deathloop. The main artist at Arcane that has done Dishonored 2, and even, I believe, Prey, did Deathloop's artwork. And the artwork is just so well done. I highly recommend, if you love artwork or art design, Deathloop is so good. It's just classic, kind of painting for these character designs and these character posters. But then in game, it's kind of this more cartoony art style that kind of displays what's going on in the world in a fun way. So I just think Deathloop has two really good art styles going for it, and I really enjoy it a lot. So I think it definitely has to be Deathloop. Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I think there's such a cool art design with Deathloop, with that 60s, 70s style that is so perfectly realized in that experience, where every single thing that you see fits so well into that, and then also can be experienced in multiple different ways as it progresses throughout that day in such a cool way that I think is really incredible. And I think I agree. It has to be Deathloop. Kana, I cannot believe it's been made at an indie studio because of how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
But I think Deathloop is, and I think Ratchet and Clank looks great, but I don't think it has that same all-encompassing just really good art vibe where everything feels so intentional as in Deathloop. Yeah,
100%. And I just just the design of the world itself and the direction it took in that artistically is fantastic. Yeah. If you even look in the posters in game and how fun and unique they all are, and just very, like you said, Ryan, 60s, 70s influence, it's so much fun. It's such a they did a great job with the art direction in that game. I think that one takes it for sure. So, unless Artful Escape is something that we just never saw coming.
Yeah, I really need to go check out this game now because it's getting so many cool,
Next category is the Best Score and Music. And the nominations are Cyberpunk 2077, Deathloop, Nier, Replicant. Yeah, there's a version... No, I don't want to read all that.
It's a Nier thing.
Yeah, it's a Nier thing. Yeah, I'm not reading all that. It's like a Kingdom Hearts remix 0.12... pi, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy and The Artful Escape.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I've only played Deathloop, so it has to be Deathloop. But I would be surprised if... I wouldn't be surprised, if Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy and Cyberpunk 2077 also had really good scores of music. So those two stand out to me the most. But I'm curious what you think, Ryan. What do you think?
Yeah, I think for me, it has to be Deathloop as well. Again, because it's the only game of these that I've played. But the music in that game fits so well into the setting, kind of like the art design.
Yep.
The as you're moving through the spaces, the music changes. The different times of day, when you're going into certain buildings, it is just so well designed and so interesting and so catchy. And again, it fits so well with that kind of 60s, 70s theme that. It has like a nice jazz funk to it that is just so perfect for that experience that I really love. So yeah, I think it's got to be Deathloop. But like you, I'm sure 2077 has an incredible soundtrack because the Witcher games had incredible soundtracks. And I don't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy, but if you say it has a good soundtrack, I believe you.
I don't know, but I would assume for some reason something tells me I would assume that it has probably has a good. Score and music, something, it feels like it needs to. That's the kind of game that would
it's so important to those characters, and to that,
Next is best audio design. Ryan, you want to take it away for this one?
Yeah, I would love to. Best audio design, we have Deathloop, Forza Horizon 5, Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil Village, and Returnal. Mm-hmm. Eric, what are your thoughts on these?
I played, like I said, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, Deathloop, and I think the obvious choice for me is Deathloop because when I think of audio design, like we said, it all sounds good. It all the audio design is fantastic in the game, but what stands out to me the most is the dialogue between the characters of that game and how Julia interacts with Cole, and you hear the conversation through your PlayStation 5 controller. Just the design of that alone, I was excited for that every time I would start a new level or mission or whatever, and I knew they were going to talk to each other, that I always looked forward to those interactions that are so good and so well done. There's a point in the game, spoiler alert, where you just stop talking because you have nothing else to talk about, and when that ends, those conversations end, I got really sad. I knew that wasn't going to happen anymore. So just that design alone and that gravitational pull to me wanting to hear more of that conversation and how it's done through the PlayStation 5 controller in such a fun way, like a radio, like a walkie-talkie kind of conversation that you're having. It just made it so fun. So definitely Deathloop for me.
I think I have to agree. The Ratchet and Clank had great audio design in that, like, when you blew stuff up, the sound was really satisfying. When you collect the bolts, the sound was really satisfying. But in no way in the same way that Deathloop, with both the storytelling coming from the controllers, the surround. If you played with the headphones, which I did for a brief period of time, it sounds so incredible when you're walking through that world and you're hearing things in the distance with the 3D audio that the PlayStation 5 has. It's really phenomenal. So I think I have to give it to Deathloop as well. I haven't played Forza Horizon, but I'm sure that has some really beautiful sound design just based on how stunning that game is. And I haven't played Returnal, unfortunately. And Resident Evil, I thought was just fine.
Yeah, Returnal's audio design is good for sure. It's really good. But I think Deathloop just stands out ahead of it. Personally, I think it just does it so well. It's very crazy in the best way. So, yeah. The next category is best performance, which I totally forgot was even a category for these things, but it's definitely important. So, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do okay. I thought I was going to butcher this, but I think I got this. Okay, best performances category is best performance. The nominations are Erica Mori as Alex Chen in Life is Strange: True Colors, Giancarlo Esposito as Anton Castillo in Far Cry 6, Jason E. Kelly as Colt Vaughn in Deathloop, Maggie Robertson as Lady Lady Demirescu, Lady D.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah,
Lady D in Resident Evil Village, and then there's Ozima Akaga. I'm so sorry. As Juliana Blake in Deathloop.
If you're listening,
oh man, I'm so sorry. Ryan, what are your thoughts on... I'm thinking, side note, now I'm reading out loud, I think Maggie Robertson was the performer in Resident Evil Village that passed away before the game came out. I'm pretty sure she was the one that had passed away due to some kind of illness. She played one of the female evil baddies in the game, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could be totally, or maybe not. Maybe she's, oh, no. She's the one that plays the giant lady. I'm wrong.
Yes, she plays giant. She plays a very large lady.
Then no, I am totally wrong. Forget everything I said. I'm sure I'm vaguely correct about something in that game. Someone did pass away in real life. But no, okay. Anyway, for me personally, I've only played, again, Deathloop in this category. I haven't played, Life is Strange, Far Cry 6, or Resident Evil Village. I do appreciate Lady D and how much people loved her and just took that performance. And I guess she really did kill it as a
she did. It was a very good performance.
Yeah. My first thought was I would have given it to Giancarlo Esposito just because I love Breaking Bad. And he's an amazing actor and he's really good. But Ozima Akaga, as Juliana stands out leagues above everybody else because she's just so good in the game. It's so funny. It's so real. It doesn't feel forced. It just feels like just natural and fluent when she's talking to Colt. And it's just great. 100%. There's no doubt in my mind that she deserves this award for me personally. So what about you, Ryan? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I think the I don't know who is doing the voice actor direction in Deathloop, but it's probably some of the best voice acting that's in any game I've ever played.
Yeah.
And I certainly think Julian Blake's voice actor is phenomenal. Colt was great.
Colt's
do
great.
Not get me wrong, but I do not. I think Colt is great because he has the Juliana to bounce off of.
Yeah.
I think Juliana on her own would have been just fine.
Yeah.
I think so incredibly well written and so incredibly well done. So certainly I agree there with Juliana from Deathloop.
Yeah, it's just so good. She's so funny. She's just so realistic. And again, like you said, Colt is great too, but I think he needs that Juliana back and forth to show his performance, whereas Juliana is just funny on her own. Like she really could just talk to herself and be fantastic, I'm sure. So yeah, 100%. The next category is games for impact, but I don't think we played any of those, so we may skip it.
No, I mean, the only one I know anything about is Boyfriend Dungeon, which I really wish I would have played these games because this category is about like games that are making impacts on like social and cultural things, but unfortunately I haven't played these games. I've heard of Chicory and I've heard of Boyfriend Dungeon, but I unfortunately haven't seen, and obviously Life is Strange. But I haven't played any of them, which is kind of a shame because I think I probably should. Yeah, I think it's
I would like to go back and play some of these too. I think that'd be really important. I've never played them, so I really can't say. My only guess is Life is Strange because I just know of it. And Boyfriend Dungeon I've heard a lot of too. Actually, I have seen Before Your Eyes. I watched a little bit because I actually thought about doing a bedtime, or not bedtime story, but a Tales episode on it. And it's a really deep game. So actually, I would pick that one. It's a lot of fun. You basically skip parts of your life every time you blink because you're using a camera as you play, or you can use a camera as you play. So every time you blink in the game, you like fast forward, I think, a little bit in the game, if I remember correctly. It's some kind of trope like that. So, but no, it is a really interesting game about someone that's kind of moving on to the afterlife. So very, very good. So I would probably pick that one, but that's the only thing I know. So not 100% on that one.
Yeah.
Best Community Support is the next category. The nominations are Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. So, Ryan, what do you think? I'll let you go first. What do you think?
Yeah, this one is tough because I think I have two choices here. I think I obviously you guys know I play a ton of Destiny and really love Destiny. I think Bungie has done a really good job, especially recently, supporting the community and adding more stuff to the game to make it engaging and interesting. I still think they have some work to do. Yeah. I haven't played Apex. I haven't played Final Fantasy, but I would not be surprised if Final Fantasy gets this because of how much they've been killing it. Fortnite, I have no feelings about. And then No Man's Sky, the only reason I say No Man's Sky is because that game, I don't know if folks are aware, but was like maybe the most hated game when it came out. Like absolutely appalled. People were really upset with Hello Games, and they have continued year after year to come out with more and more stuff for that game. I've dipped back into it a couple times, and it's fun. It is not like it doesn't grab me in the way that I think I would like it to, but it is phenomenal that they have, who knows how much money they have put into this game to keep giving stuff to that community. I think for me, just because I engage more with it, with the Destiny crew, but I think Final Fantasy is probably going to win, I think.
Yeah.
but that's my best guess. What about you?
I mean, I've only played Apex Legends recently from all of these ones, so I would pick Apex because of that. But if I was looking more kind of at the social aspect and the community support aspect of these games, which is what the category is, I almost feel like, based on what you just said about No Man's Sky, it should be them. But I just feel like they're so not as relevant as the other games are that I don't think it's going to win. I also think it's kind of between Final Fantasy 14 and Fortnite, just because Fortnite constantly has a gigantic community, and they constantly get this new stuff. Like, they have Carnage and they have Spider-Man and The Rock in it, and like they're constantly listening to feedback and taking in what's like popular in the now and bringing it in. Like, they brought Naruto in, like, it's so random, all these random things. But I would guess it's because they're listening to their fans, what they want. And when their fans are 9-year-olds, it's kind of easy to hear that, that was a knock against Fortnite, sorry. I think you're right, though. I think Final Fantasy 14 will be the game, because it's basically the new World of Warcraft. It's not the new World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
It's taken
essentially.
It's the new... It's a new one for a lot of players who are upset with Blizzard and how things have gone there. They've left World of Warcraft for Final Fantasy 14, and I think that's really said a whole lot. So I think if I had to guess, it'd be Final Fantasy 14, but I think it could also very much be Fortnite as well. Though I think probably No Man's Sky deserves it the most. So, yeah. Next category is Innovation and Accessibility. And the nominations are Far Cry 6, I said Horizon, Zero Dawn. Forza Horizon 5, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, and The Veil: Shadow of the Crown. For me personally, I've only played Ratchet and Clank, and I remember there's a lot of accessibility options there, so that's going to be what I would pick. But I'm sure they all have great ones. I imagine Forza does too. They've been really good with that in the past. So, what are your thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, I think like you have only played Ratchet and Clank. I think the accessibility options are great there. I know Ubisoft does a ton. I'm sure Microsoft Game Studios does a ton. I'm glad more folks are doing these things. I think like it's really important, and I think like games like Metroid Dread could benefit from any kind of accessibility options, because it has like none, which is really wild. Mm-hmm. But I think like you have only played Ratchet and Clank, I can only really speak to Ratchet and Clank and their accessibility options. But yeah.
I totally agree. I think they had so many different options. I wish I wrote them down to say them all. I just remember looking through them and be like, wow, even I can use this and I don't need it, but it's just fun to have. Right. And it's just, it's so cool that it's just getting better and better for people who need that thing. And that's good. I'm glad that we have those options now. Where people, it just makes sense, even from a marketing standpoint, or not marketing, but even from a financial standpoint. Like, the more accessibility to your game, the more people that can play it, the more money that you make. So it really, like, everybody benefits when you invest the time. Like Microsoft's doing. Microsoft's done a whole lot of work on innovation and accessibility in their games, which, is awesome. More power to them. That's so cool. But yeah, and it's sad that Nintendo hasn't really seen the benefit in that yet. I think they're the ones that are the most behind in regard to innovation and accessibility, which is sad, because I feel like they could do such a great job with that. So it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, but we're going to skip any and all esports as well as content creator of the year, because we just don't do that.
We know nothing.
Yeah.
We know nothing about these things. Yeah. I for a brief period, like 3 years ago, watched some StarCraft 2 esports. That's the extent of my esports knowledge. So it's not relevant.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I think that's I mean, more power to all the content creators of the year. I know none of you, and I probably never will. So I'm an adult and I have things to do.
We're just too old and out of touch.
Yeah. But we will skip all of those categories and go right to Game of the Year. So, Ryan, you want to do the honors of reading the Game of the Year nominations?
Oh, that's very kind. I would love to. So we have Game of the Year, Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, and Resident Evil Village. What a weird
wonky
group of games.
Yeah, it is.
What a wonky
strange
group of games. Yeah, it feels very strange to have this be our list. But yeah, that's our list. Eric, what are your thoughts on these games?
I could beat it already over the head. I'm sure you guys already know. Deathloop, Metroid Dread, and Ratchet and Clank are the ones I've played. I watched a little bit of Resident Evil Village. I haven't seen anything for Psychonauts 2, and I've only heard horror stories about It Takes Two. So...
Yeah.
But for me, though, I loved Ratchet and Clank so much. It is a game that I think was so much fun and so great. But I think it could have done... But I think it was just an experience that overall was just good. It was really great. It was great. It was really great. But I just think personally, and same with Metroid Dread. I haven't beaten it, but I've had a great time with it. I love Metroid. I think 2D is the way, or side-scrolling is the way to go for Metroid series. I'm not into Metroid Prime gameplay, and that's fine. And for those who do like it, that's great. I'm glad you have that. But for me, Game of the Year is definitely Deathloop. I love Arcane Studios so much. Dishonored is one of my favorite games ever. And Deathloop is just so much fun. It had everything, action, adventure, comedy, sadness, just, it was just so much. The plethora of different personalities in the game, the way you can do your missions, the weapons in the game, everything was so thoroughly thought out, and you can tell. And it's just, I think I was worried about Deathloop. I said this before in the past too, because Deathloop kept getting pushed back, and I kept getting trailers, and everyone's like, I thought this game was already out. They're really wearing on it. They were making fun of it, and it's stupid because I didn't take it personal, but I was like, man, I really hope this isn't going to hurt this game. With all the trailers coming out and how overdone it seemed. But when it came out, the majority of people really liked it, and I'm really happy to see that. So, long story short, Deathloop is definitely my game of the year. I think it just did so good. And honestly, from all the games I did play this year, I've been looking through my list again really fast as I'm talking and buying some time. I think that Deathloop probably has to be my overall game of the year as well. I think the one closest to it is New Pokemon Snap, but I don't think it deserves game of the year compared to Deathloop. I just think that overall, Deathloop was just so much fun, such a great time, wild ride, and I loved it. So, but what about you, Ryan? What do you think? What was your favorite out of all these categories? All these nominees. Who is your game of the year?
I think I have to agree. I think I have to give it to Deathloop. I feel hurt that It Takes Two is here. It needs to not be here. The thing is if what I love about It Takes Two is that it unabashedly is a couch co-op game that I think we need more of.
Yeah.
Unabashedly a co-op game that does really cool things with the mechanics, but it is pretty abhorrent in what it is trying to communicate as far as here's how relationships work, and here's how you treat the people you care about, and here's how you fix those things. And like I said, maybe it'll fix it, but I do not trust the game to do so and how it's handled it in the past, that I cannot believe it is on this Game of the Year list. But I think a lot of people did really enjoy it. Metroid Dread is a fun game. I really enjoyed it like you, but it isn't there for me. Ratchet and Clank, I loved that game. But like you, it was just really good. I played it, I finished it, and then I walked away.
Yeah.
I didn't really think much about it anymore. Whereas Deathloop is a game that I still get an itch to. My game of the year from this list is Deathloop.
Yeah.
It's still a game that I go back to and think about and want to be like, man, I want to go do some more loops of that game. Yeah. Unfortunately, that content isn't there for me right now. And I hope it will be again someday because I just loved being in that world so much. But yeah, from this list, I think it's got to be Deathloop.
Mm-hmm. If you had to pick a personal game of the year, Ryan, would it still be Deathloop or would it be something else?
I think if which hopefully Eric cut out when I told this earlier, is I think my personal game of the year, and again maybe this is just recency bias because I just finished this game yesterday, is Inscription. Because the reason I love that game so much is both because it's just a really smart and interesting card game where you get to do all kinds of cool stuff and the mechanics are really cool and interesting and different, but it does some really wild things that are just phenomenal, and there are so many layers to it, and it's so masterfully done. In the same way, and maybe this is just me as a gamer, what I appreciate is in the same way Obra Dinn was my 2019 or 2020 game of the year. Mm-hmm. Obra Dinn was my game of the year, like Red Dead and God of War came out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like that really perfect small game that so perfectly captures this experience. It just brought me in, and I loved it so much. And anytime I wasn't playing it, I was thinking about it, and even after I finished it, I was thinking about it, and I kind of want to go play it again to get that experience now with the information I have now, because it'll mean something totally different in a cool way. That it for me, I think it has to be Inscription. And again, maybe it's that recency bias because I just finished it, but it's between that and Deathloop, and what weird and wildly different games. But yeah. I think I have to personally give it to Inscription of what I've enjoyed. I enjoyed from moment to moment more. But again, that could be because I just played that. Who knows?
Yeah. But hey, you like what you like. There's no wrong answers, right?
It's true. Yeah.
So we have our last category for Game Awards, and actually probably the most exciting one. I'm very curious what your answer is, Ryan, as there's no wrong answers here. We don't need to have played anything to know. So the last category is most anticipated game. And the nominations are Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, the untitled sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Starfield. So, Ryan, do you have an answer? It's a hard one.
I think I do. I think for me, of these, I'm not particularly excited for Elden Ring because I'm just not a From Software person. Those just aren't, and nor am I a huge fan of George R.R. Martin's works. I think he's an incredible author, but he has problems. We all have problems. But I have problems with his writing.
He's got some problems.
Yeah. I'm excited for Forbidden West, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna come out in a couple months, and that'll be great.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, I'm excited for, but I think I'm most excited for God of War. Starfield, I'm sure is gonna be good, but I think God of War for me is what I'm most excited about of this list.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, I cannot fathom how you made this decision, how you decided this.
This is the hardest one.
I'm really interested to see how you parse this out.
This is the hardest one for me. And again, like you, Elden Ring, I'm not a Souls-like guy. I tried with Sekiro and I failed miserably and I ended up selling my game back to GameStop. So I just, one of those people. So I'm not super jiving with that. I'm glad people are enjoying it. The demo came out, or the, whatever you want to call it, came out recently. Oh, my phone just fell. And people loved it. So I'm happy about that. Or, generally people did. Horizon Forbidden West, I still haven't beaten Horizon Zero Dawn, so I really don't know. I just didn't get into it. I'll try again soon, so maybe in preparation for this game. It looks beautiful, though. I'm very excited. For people who love it, I'm very excited for them. And Ashley Birch is literally fantastic, so she can do no wrong.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Starfield, I don't know. There's nothing for Starfield yet. We got a CG trailer, and that's it. So I don't personally see all the anticipation yet. I feel like it would be super wonky and weird. And granted, I wasn't really into Fallout 4 a whole lot, so I don't really have a whole lot of hopes for this game right now. So for me, it's between God of War Ragnarok and the sequel to Breath of the Wild. And it's hard because I love both so much. So much.
Yeah.
I think if I had more details about what Breath of the Wild, the sequel will be, it would be the one I pick. If I knew that it was, there's so many theories right now. It's connected to Majora's Mask, or it's going to be a lot darker, or it takes place in the past, or there's so many different things that people are theorizing, and it makes it so exciting. But literally that last trailer for God of War Ragnarok that showed so much stuff. Literally my hype is so high for that game. I just cannot. So I think because I've seen more of God of War Ragnarok, I'm just so excited for it. I'm very excited for the sequel to Breath of the Wild and what it could pertain or what it could mean or all the theories with it. But just because I've seen more of God of War Ragnarok, I cannot wait for more. I'm so excited. Yeah. Don't hate me, Zelda lovers. I know I hate myself too. Ryan, we did a good job. I think that granted, it's hard. It's hard when we don't have a whole lot of time to play all the games. I would love to play all the games on this list.
If our job was to play video games, we'd have better ideas.
We'd have much better ideas. Next year. Maybe next year. You never know.
Next year. Yeah.
But we'll see. But the last thing we're going to do is kind of make some predictions as to what could be announced at the Game Awards. There's supposedly 40 to 50 games that are going to be announced. I think is what I read somewhere. A significant number. Something like that. There's a lot of things being announced. So Ryan and I took some time to make a list of things that we think might happen with the announcements. Ryan, would you like to go first with what your prediction, one of your first prediction is?
My first prediction is info on Fable. I think Fable is a franchise that people love a whole bunch, and I think Microsoft would be very smart to start getting some hype for some first-party things.
Yeah.
Although I guess Game Pass is their jam, so maybe they don't need to. But I would love some more Fable information. Fable is a game that I played a bit of back in the day, and I haven't gone back. But my cousin Tyler, who played a bunch of Fable, and I watched him play a bunch of Fable. And those games are really wonderful, and I think if done well, folks deserve some more Fable, because for a lot of people, those games were pretty foundational to their love of Xbox, and I think it'd be a great time to bring that back with some Fable.
Yeah, I agree. it'd be interesting to see. I didn't like the trailer because that fairy got eaten by the frog, and it was kind of disturbing, I thought. But yeah. But I think a lot of people are excited for new Fables. I think that'd be a fantastic time to do that. Yeah. My first one is I think that the new BioShock game will be announced officially. If you are privy to video game news, then you may not have heard that, or if you're not privy to video game news, you may not have heard that a lot of BioShock information for the new game has been leaked, and we don't know if it's true or not. So I won't say anything because I don't want to speculate and get it wrong and look dumb. But from what I've read, if it is true, it sounds very exciting, a lot of fun. The only downer is that the original game's creator, Ken Levine, will not be a part of the project. But a lot of the people who made the original BioShock and have been a part of the series for a while are involved in this new game, supposedly. So that's really exciting. Again, I don't want to spoil anything in case you want to be like surprised, but it sounds like the setting is super fun and kind of unique than what we've seen already. And it just it's just very different, but also sounds very BioShock. So I'm very excited by the idea of this. I think BioShock in a new direction might be a lot of fun. I think Ken Levine told his story with BioShock and BioShock Infinite. I think he did a great job, but I think maybe giving it in the hands of some new people, because BioShock 2 I never played, but everyone really liked it. Or not everyone, but a lot of people liked it a lot. So I think I think it just kind of shows that it could go in a good direction with new hands. So I'm very excited for that. But Ryan, what's your next one? What's your next prediction?
My next prediction would be more Knights of the Old Republic remake details. We got like a little bit of it. Was it an E3? And we got like a really brief snippet of it. And I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to see more of it because Knights of the Republic is such a beloved game. I think I'd like some more information on it to see, because there wasn't much they said other than we're making this game. I'd love to see some more details, some more information on it. I think that'd be really great. We'll see, because I haven't seen anything, but I think that would be worthwhile. Yeah.
I played the original KOTOR, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. So I'm actually really excited for the remake, because I think I'd like to see it be redone. Maybe it's more accessible and more fun to play this time. But I think that trailer, the reveal trailer with Darth Revan, I think his name is. I think that's the one that is in that game. Looked really cool. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited about what that could entail and how fun that could be. So, my next prediction, I feel pretty confident on this one. I feel like this could be a great time to do this. I think that God of War will have a release date. I think they'll finally say, I feel like it's coming soon. I feel like it's supposed to be coming the first quarter of 2022. So I think, if I remember correctly, I could be totally wrong, so don't quote me. But I do think that we'll get some kind of release date. I think it's the perfect time. A lot of people will be watching, and I think that they can say the release date and get a bunch of hype from it, possibly even more hype than, because they could get most anticipated game and then reveal the reveal trailer or the announcement trailer for the release date, and it'd be perfect flow. It'd be fantastic. So I definitely see that happening. So what's your next one, Ryan?
I would love, I don't know if this was 2 years ago or 1 year ago, D3, that they really briefly showed like Elder Scrolls 7. Are we on 7?
Is 6 or 7?
Or is it 6? It might be 6. Elder Scrolls 6, and it was just like a field and a dragon, and that's all they showed. I would really love to maybe get a second trailer to give a little more information on like where this is going to be. Is this just like all of Cyrodiil? Nope, Cyrodiil is a region. Is this all of that region, or is it just specific places within the world, like Skyrim was? I would love to get some more information on that, just because it has been a very long time since we've had an Elder Scrolls game. Yeah. I think like Skyrim just got its 10-year re-release on every platform again. It's crazy. So it's been a long time. They could. I think folks are maybe ready for an Elder Scrolls that isn't Skyrim, so I'd love to see some more information on that.
I can't believe there's still nothing yet. Like, that blows my mind that Skyrim's been around so long, and there's still not been a sequel to, or number 6 or whatever. Crazy. My next one is, I think there's been a lot of talk about what NetherRealm Studios, the creators of Mortal Kombat and Injustice, are doing. There's been a lot of talk that they have been planning another game, and they'll be announcing it at the Game Awards. Some people think it's Mortal Kombat 12, but I think it's way too soon for that. They literally, like, more recently just finished Mortal Kombat 11. Yeah. Was that?
Yeah, I was going to say they just came out with Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Sorry, my internet's a little like bleh right now. Sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah, I think that NetherRealm studios will announce their next game, I really truly believe it'll be Injustice 3. I don't think it'll be Mortal Kombat 12. I think it's way too soon for that. I'd be really surprised if they announced that already. But I think Injustice 3 sounds like it'd be the perfect reveal, because it does. Injustice 1 and 2 have done so well. There's no way they're not making a third. I truly believe that they're making another one. So I think the Game Awards are a perfect time to announce those. There probably won't be a whole lot of fighting game announcements. So I think Injustice 3 would probably be the one that stands out the most in that category if they announced it. So, yeah. Ryan, what's your next one?
Yeah, Eric, I'm looking at my list and realizing I've only done RPGs. All RPGs. So apparently I'm craving a new RPG. My next one is
you won't be wrong. You'll be
Worlds.
Wrong. Sorry.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you'll be right about one of these things. If it's all RPGs,
yes,
and
it's
one
true.
of these will
exactly.
be correct. Yeah.
One of these will be right. Outer Worlds 2. We got a really brief glimpse of that very funny trailer at, was it E3? Is E3, that was over the summer, right? Or was it something else?
I mean, it's it quotes E3, but I think it's more just the summer showcases or whatever they
okay, that's what it was. Right. Yeah, we got a really brief glimpse, and all the end of the trailer, all it said is we'll have some more information when we have some more information.
Yeah.
I think it would be great to get some more information. I think the first game did fairly well, and they're kind of taking the mantle, because it's the folks who made it, from Bethesda in some of that RPG world. And the first Outer Worlds is really incredible. I actually really want to go back and play those DLCs. I just haven't yet. And I'd like some more information, and maybe that would be a good place to do it.
Yeah, I think it'd be a really good idea to do that, especially because, I don't think you'll see Starfield anytime soon. I don't think you'll see Fallout anytime soon. So Outer Worlds 2. And then that reveal trailer was awesome. I remember it being really funny. So I think that they could say something now and it'd be really... It'd be perfect. Because the Game Awards is all about... They'd like to include comedy. They like to have people engaged and laughing. So I think Outer Worlds 2 could be a fantastic time to announce that and get people engaged. Yeah. On the opposite end of funny and laughing, I think my next prediction will be that Resident Evil 4 Remake will be officially announced. If you haven't heard, the voice actor for the character Wesker has leaked that he's making the game, and that he leaked some concept art for it, so he broke his NDA? Yeah, NDA. So he could be in a lot of trouble, but I think that Resident Evil 4 Remake could definitely be announced at this. It's probably a lot of people's favorite Resident Evil game. I know Resident Evil 4 is very much beloved by the people who love that series. And I think it has a lot of hype and a lot of fear as to what it could be, because I think a lot of people enjoyed Resident Evil 3 Remake, but it was not as good as Resident Evil 2. It had a lot of problems. So I think the anticipation for Resident Evil 4 and what it could bring will have people kind of on the edge of their seats and excited. So I think that could be a really good time to announce that at the Game Awards. So, yeah. All right, I think you're on your last one. What is
my last one. So it's kind of two, but I hope we get some more information on either Wolverine or Spider-Man 2. We got... Similarly, we're at however many months it's been since E3, and I think it'd be a great time to follow up on some of these trailers that dropped.
Yeah.
Just to continue to let people know, hey, these things are coming. Be excited. We got a very brief amount of Wolverine, and I have no idea what that's going to be about. A gameplay trailer would be great, or just some more trailer would be great.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of Spider-Man 2, and I would love to know more about that as well with the multiple Spider-Man. Spider-Mans. Spider folk.
Spider-folk. I think, honestly, when you think about it, story goes, if you listen to our last Spider-Man episode for the Spider-Man and the N64, Venom was also in that game. I think Venom really took the show with all his dumb lines and the way he acted in that game. So really, for Spider-Man 2, the one that's coming out now, it's really, the sky's the limit. You really can't mess up Venom at this point, because I think he's so messed up in the N64 version that it really can't go bad. So I'm very excited to see what they do with Venom in this game. And yeah, like you said, Ryan, Wolverine looks... that trailer alone looks so good. I am hyped for that game. Whether or not it turns out to be good or not, I don't know. But I feel like Insomniac Games, right? I think. Yeah. I think Insomniac Games are going to do a great job, because they always do. They're so good at what they do. Yeah. I have two more, so I'll go through them really fast. I feel like Breath of the Wild 2, the sequel to Breath of the Wild could have a trailer announcement and have more stuff to it. And again, could be the same as God of War. It could be the most anticipated game, and it gets its own trailer. I think either one of those two will be the winners, and we'll get a trailer from that win. I think that's what's going to happen. I really do. And And then the last one I have is I think that they could potentially show a trailer for the Last of Us TV show. I think it's a really great opportunity. I don't know if HBO would really be down for it. I don't know if really HBO would really take this seriously or take the Video Game Awards seriously enough to want to debut that there. But I think it also, Naughty Dog could have a lot of pull and be like, no, we want to push it, do it there. I don't know. They're probably not. But I think it's a great time because then, you have all video game fans focused on this one night. That's where you announce the show. I think it could do a good amount of press for the show before it comes out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think if you get a good trailer, you can get some good buy-in because I think there's a lot of folks who are like, I really love The Last of Us, but I don't know if I need a TV show showing me the same things I just played in the game. But if you have a really good trailer, you might get some buy-in that you didn't have before.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like the opposite situation of, I don't know, let's throw a random out there. Uncharted. Uncharted. I don't know. It could be weird, like Tom Holland being Drake, which makes no sense, or Mark Wahlberg being Sully, which makes no sense. I don't know.
Right.
It could be a random one.
2 action stars.
Oh my god, I still don't. I just total off topic, but why are we making this movie?
No, it's not gonna. I do not think it's gonna be good. I'm really bummed because I don't hate one of those characters being in the movie, but with both of them. Sully is not meant to be like the main action hero of Uncharted. Mm-hmm. He is the like funny, wise, smart dude who kind of helps Drake out. Yeah, but it just doesn't. I don't think it works for the two of them. But maybe I'll be wrong. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be bad.
Yeah, I want to be open minded. I really do. Yeah. I just like when you cast a movie star that's just really popular for a role that I don't think he fits. Like, Tom Holland's a great actor. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him in Spider-Man, but he's a good actor. Right. I think he
does a good Spider-Man.
He does a good Spider-Man, yeah. I think he does a good job. I just don't see him as Drake. It just literally doesn't make any sense to me. And Mark Wahlberg, I just can't take seriously. So, like, the fact that he's Sully, I just don't see Sully. I don't see Mark Wahlberg saying it's hot. So, I apologize for this line. This is from Uncharted 2. It's like the best line in the game. I just don't see Mark Wahlberg looking at Tom Holland and saying it's hotter than a hooker in church. I don't think he's gonna say that. Right. And really, like, maybe he will. He's great in the other guys. Maybe that the comedy relief he can pull it off. But I don't see it, and I don't see him pulling off the mustache either. So say what you will. But
is that Chloe who's in there too?
Yeah,
Chloe is Sully's like love interest more or less, right?
Which is weird because that's definitely not ever a thing. I don't know if she's Mark Wahlberg's love interest or if she's Tom Holland's in the movie. Like,
okay,
she looks kind of young.
Okay, I don't. I think
I don't know either. I don't know either. Yeah. I mean, it's weird because
either way, Chloe shouldn't be there.
Yeah,
when Nathan's that young.
No, I totally agree. And it's the fact, like, why is Mark Wahlberg running around with these, like, 19-year-olds that suddenly, like, somehow know of all of history and can solve these things that, like, literal historians would be like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But whatever. It's Tom Holland. Everyone loves him. Like Harry Styles. I don't get it. Whatever. It's not my thing. I don't know. It's not me. I don't know. This episode got off the rails at the end, but it's okay. It's okay.
It's all right. It's fine. It's what they're here for.
It's what they're here for. Storygoers, we want to know what you think of the nominees and who you think should win the Game Awards. We would love to share those perspectives on our next episode. So please don't be afraid to send us your thoughts, feelings, and perspectives to talesfromthecartridge@gmail.com. All of the E's are 3s. You can also comment on our posts. Let us know what you think. We will happily read those on the show. And we can also earn a sweet free Tales from the Cartridge sticker and a little letter saying, thanks so much from Ryan and I. We would really appreciate it. We would happily do that for you. And I promise you that we'll never send you anything else after because I literally can't remember my own address, let alone someone else's. So please don't be afraid of that. But yeah, hopefully Game Awards is on December 9th. At, I believe it's 8 o'clock, I think. Let me look it up really fast.
All right.
I believe it's probably like 2 hours long. But let me look up really fast. I'll cut this out. Yeah, 8 p.m. So it is December 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you are on... Oh, no, I was thinking of the opposite way. So on the West Coast, it is 3 hours later, so 5 p.m. So that sucks for you if you're getting out of work. Oof. But you're lucky too because then you don't have to work next day, or you just have too late. But yeah, no, hopefully it should be good. I mean, Jeff Keighley always does a pretty good job. You know, he seems like he does a really good job. And it sounds like, not to go off on a tangent here, but he's trying his best to navigate the whole Activision Blizzard mess. Yeah, having them not participate besides what they're nominated for. So, yeah, that's a whole other story, though. Even though I truly believe Bobby Kotick should resign. But whatever. Don't want to just throw that out there. Not everyone's really going to care. But yes, he really should. Piece of trash. Anyway. But hopefully, everyone, you're doing well. And Ryan, you want to leave us with anything else? Anything else you want to say before we end the show?
Yeah. I hope everybody is doing well. We apologize for the Buckwild November we had. We didn't get Portal out yet. It should be coming out soon. It's going to probably break into 2 parts. Yeah. Part 1, and we can cut this if we said otherwise. Some version of Portal will be out either this week or next week, and then the other half of Portal, if we do it in 2 parts, will be coming out at the end of the month. Or it'll be one giant 3-hour Portal experience at the end of the month. One of those, whatever we decide to do. But Portal will be out this month, as well as our regularly scheduled. We'll just whatever else was planned. I don't think we've announced. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should. Portal will be out. You'll get some bedtime stories. You'll get a DLC. Maybe you'll get something else. We'll see. The winter and the fall is a hard time, especially I work in childcare and it is flu season and it is getting buck wild up here in Maine with COVID again, unfortunately. Yeah. So things might just be stressful, but we are so happy that you're listening, and we're so happy to be able to bring you content whenever we can, and hopefully things get more regular as we move into the spring. Yeah, hopefully, or we both quit our jobs. It's getting to that point. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
I think if we ever, side note, I don't know if I'll keep this in or not, but I think if we get more engagement and we get people talking more, I think that would be definitely a sign that we can go off and do something cool with this. But I think once we get our groove back too, it's been a little hard because our normal lives and getting this out, like you're saying, Ryan, not to give us an excuse for why it's been difficult, but at the same time, we are trying our best. So hopefully you guys understand. But anyway, hope you're doing well. Stay safe. Don't get sick, please. Be safe with all that stuff. Don't be afraid to wear a mask if you support that or feel like don't feel like an outsider doing it. Whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe, do it. So and hopefully you guys are doing well, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.